Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Sick Podcast Anvil Show. We got a show in store for us. Okay, we're about 2 weeks out from the draft, so we're gonna talk about everything leading up to that. But yeah, so in the meantime, get your popcorn ready, do what you got to do, and yeah, get ready because we are live. Sammy, bring us in.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. And Bill Show.
Intercepted! Marlon Jackson! Marlon's got it! We're going to the Super Bowl! We're going to the Super Bowl! Marlon Jackson with the interception! He picked off Tom Brady!
The sickest Indianapolis Colts podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Yes, and it is sick. Once again, we're back, Sig Podcast Anvil Show. Welcome back to all the viewers, whether you're watching from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. If you're listening in, welcome back to our listeners from Z103.com, Mix 105, wherever you're listening or watching from. Once again, welcome back. All right. I'm gonna say it's just like we're just gonna go ahead and just get right into it, starting with our guy Clyde, who can't be here tonight, so we don't have the anvil sound. But you know what? I'm gonna get that off. All right. So y'all let Clyde know. Give Chris the anvil sound too, because he be out there doing covert ops and whatnot. I mean, it has to be readily available. But in the meantime, I'm CJ, and I have with me my esteemed good brother, otherwise known as the DEI hire that does the best. Pat, I'm not calling him Big P. I'm not calling, but how's it going, man? How are we feeling today?
Doing good. Ready for this draft to kick off.
Yes.
I wish they wouldn't make us wait so long.
Nah, they're gonna make us wait. They're gonna make us wait. So, but hey, listen. Either way, um, so I mean, like I said, we can just go ahead and get right into it, right? So, of course, since last week they have like the rule changes that they proposed. I don't think anyone was more controversial than the Tush Push. So the Tush Push, they have teams that were just looking to outright ban it. It looks like Green Bay was one of the teams that was looking to ban it, which rightfully so, because I mean Green Bay, they were on the receiving end of the Tush Push calls, and it just didn't go well for them. But I, am I in the minority of believing that the like unless something is really just explicitly cheating or implicitly cheating, that it doesn't matter, right? I mean, am I in the minority when I say that, or
No, you're not. And I got some words for people that want to do away with that.
ooh, okay, give
It's
it to them.
it's almost like you're saying we suck. We can't beat your play, so you got to do away with it. Now, to me, that's the same as saying, hey, NFL, we have too much trouble with a 6'5", 285-pound running back named Derrick Henry because it's just hard to stop him. It's just too hard to stop him. So running backs with those stat lines and body build should be banned.
Yeah,
To me, that's the exact same thought process when you're trying to ban a certain play. Nobody gets hurt. Concussion protocols don't go sky high because they did a tush push. They score. It's your job to stop them.
yeah.
Plain and simple. So, no, I don't think you're in the minority there, sir.
No, and
Maybe,
you know what? It's
maybe if you're a suck-ass pussy team that can't, excuse my language, that can't stop anybody, yeah, you want to go bitch, whine, and cry about it to the commissioner. Get out of here.
yeah. It's to me personally, it doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't make sense because of the fact that it's something that you have in a lot of these rare situations, right? Now, there was an argument for it, which I understood. So basically, when it comes down to the actual tush push, there's a difference in how much a team is able to move, right? So you have like the neutral zone, and this is more so the red zone than anything else. So teams automatic or defenses have to automatically play back a certain amount. I believe it's just like they have to be back at least like I think it's like 6 to 7 inches off the line or whatever it may be. And the O line, even though like we've seen that there's been some discrepancies with how like the lines have been handled, but basically the O line can go all the way up to it. So you almost have that issue falling forward, whereas the other team isn't able to necessarily gain as much momentum. You can't really get under it. You can't really make it a battle of the trenches because the offense technically it does have. I'm gonna say they do have, I'm gonna say, a little bit of momentum advantage. Like, that's the only thing that I've seen that's actually made any sense. So, yeah. But, I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, that's the only opposition I've seen to that, so.
I don't know. I don't know what people think when they say things like that. Or
Yeah,
they actually believe that that's a bad play and it should be stopped because of why.
yeah.
I've not heard a legitimate reason why that play should be banned from the NFL.
Well, you also have to understand that the teams that are pushing for it the most probably are the ones that were on the receiving end of it. Like, I think you have, like Shane. You have, I think there was a few other teams like that spoke out, and they were just like, "Listen, I mean, it's part of competition. You got to go out there and fight." And I think that the teams that are giving the most pushback are the ones that were on, like I said, we're on the receiving end of it time and time again. I mean, Green Bay, it's just like they've had tight games with Philly where, I mean, maybe if if they don't have that rule or they don't have that specifically, they're maybe not able to go ahead and get those extra points. I mean, I don't know. I think it just boils down to how much they're going to they're going to cater to other teams. But it's like, to me, if you take that out, that's trash. Like
That's
that's
big.
absolute garbage.
It's the biggest sissy move I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. But you know what? It's a I think it's just going to boil down to just like how are they going to play Smash Mouth football? I think the Eagles, just based on the Super Bowl alone, they showed that they're still willing to play a brand of Smash Mouth football that you and I are kind of used to having, where it's just like you literally gotta go and it's gotta be them versus it's us versus them. Whoever's the more aggressive one is going to be the one who wins. And I mean, honestly, it's just like I don't want it to turn into, well, yeah, whoever's the most aggressive wins, but here's a way to weasel out of being aggressive. Like, I don't I just don't want to see that. So,
Yeah, I don't
but
either. I really, really don't either, man.
but so with that being said, I do actually do, because I see that oh, by the way, what's up, Sean? What's up, James? What's up, Joe? What's up, Josh? How's everybody doing this evening? Want to bring up the question that James had.
Okay.
So out of all the players we signed in free agency, who do you think is going to have the biggest impact?
Ooh, I was reading that question on the side, and James, that is going to be very, very hard. The first two, Shavarius Ward and Cam
Mhm.
Bynum. Did I say that right? Is it Bynum?
Yeah, Cam Bynum.
Bynum. Okay. I keep wanting to say bum or I come up with all kinds of
Bummer.
words all the time.
Like,
But
like,
but
okay.
between those two, it's going to be a 50-50 coin flip. Who's going to have the most impact? Because a lot of plays don't happen in the safety area of the field.
Yeah,
So the safety always has to come up to make plays, but he's quite capable of doing that. Uh, and Ward is just a stud on that corner.
Okay.
With knowing how the safety has to play, I'll give it to Ward. Slight edge over Cam.
I think it's going to be a lot heavier than that, leaning towards Ward, honestly, because like Ward will be the first true like number one corner that we've had in a very, very long time. And I mean, Kenny has done a good job given the circumstances because he's a guy basically playing out of position every single year that there's not a number one there. I mean, the only times that he has been able to, I think, is maybe like when he originally got here, and then also the year with Gilmore. But now Kenny is going to be able to play more naturally, so he potentially is going to be able to move back into that nickel corner spot, and so he's going to be at a much more natural position. Whoever's the number two, whether it be Juju if he's able to stay healthy, whether it be Jalen Jones if he's able to go ahead and take that leap, take another leap. So, or even like I said, if it's somebody that we may draft, if it's a Will Johnson or somebody else, then now we're going to be looking at having, having Ward just go out there and do what he needs to do, and everybody else now is going to be able to be in a better fit in this defense. And I mean, if we're being honest, like it's gonna help with over the top as well because now it's just like that Ward is going to go wherever. He said he wants to travel. So
Yeah.
now
And
Ward and Bynum
Andy said Coach Lou was going to let him do it.
exactly. And that's the
So
and that's the reason why, like I said, having Ward means that you now don't put as much pressure on the other guys, but you allow them to come in naturally. We were talking about this last summer when I said that I wanted us to get a veteran corner because we need a veteran corner that was more like a Juju, more like a Jalen Jones, and that's what we have now. Because Ward is a guy who's taller, but he's also a guy who can play man, he can play zone, and he can press. So now and he's rangier, so now you have somebody who's going to be able to come in and immediately is going to, be impactful for those younger guys that we have there. I mean, if Juju is able to learn from him and is actually able to stay healthy, I think we're going to see Juju have a lights out year. But I think that's going to be the immediate impact of Ward coming in and doing what we have seen him do previously and hoping that's what he's going to do. That's just where I see it.
awesome. I like it. Now, I got a question for the chat. Is this background of mine distracting for everybody, or do you like it? Because I need to know because I want to make some other videos, not me make them, but our very talented Miss Amber Taylor is going to put all our tailgate videos from last year together, and so I can play it as a background. So if it's not distracting, let me know.
Hey, guys! By the way,
Brent,
I want to say we gotta.
Brent, that's the Blue Crew lot, and you're saying the F? What's that? Wow.
Hey, I do want to say, give it up to Pat for embracing technology, because he's
Wow.
he's new to this video stuff. I think if I told him about what 4K was, he might actually just possibly have a stroke or a mini stroke, whatever that may be. So, by the way, Pat, good job to you. Okay, we're glad that you are keeping up.
Well,
I like the idea, though.
You didn't know me back in the studio days, but I set all that up myself. So
yeah. Well, Mazel Tov. So, yeah. So then, with that being said, right? Because people are going to, and there has been a little bit of news. So now of course, it's mock draft season. People are just throwing names out there because what else is there to do besides throw names out there? So a name that's been kind of creeping up, and I think Josh had kind of brought this up in the chat also, is James Pierce Jr. So James Pierce Jr. is a guy who I'm going to say prior to this whole, the combine draft cycle, all this, he was potentially, he was being looked at as being a top 10 player to be drafted. But they started talking about the fact that he had some some character things going on, had some issues in regards to how, things were going with him in terms of attitude and everything. So, but now I believe he's one of the people that we're going to be bringing in. I believe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But now it looks like he's somebody that we might be considering. Now, if James Pierce Jr. is there, would you have an issue with him? Why or why not, Pat?
I'm going to say no. And the reason why is because I don't have a lot of study on him.
Hmm.
So that this it's not a new name to me, but it's a name that I didn't think would get to me. So I didn't put a lot of time into him. So I can make up some BS if you want me to. But honestly, I just didn't see. I still don't see him falling down to us.
So that was the thing, because what they were talking about was that James Pierce Jr. was going to be somebody that was going to potentially be going um, later in the draft. Like basically, it's just like when they started talking
Yeah,
about the
but
character stuff, they
how
said,
many times have we seen that? We're seeing now that Sanders could drop to the third round, which I do not see that. I'm sorry, I just don't see it.
"Okay, got you."
I look, there's always talking heads, and they're always right until they're not right. And
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, they're not right. So I'll go by what I study versus what talking heads study.
yeah,
And I always had him top 10. A lot of chatter about Warren not going to make it to us. That there's a lot of hype around that kid right now.
Hey, even if he does, get somebody else anyway.
Yeah, I'm still, Chris. I haven't came off of who I wanted, and that's Campbell.
Okay.
I'm just, I'm stuck on the guy. I think he can make an immediate impact with our defense, and the way Coach Lou's talking about, like Ward, giving Ward free reign, and taking on the best player on the field. To me, Coach Lou's going to bring more of that freedom to our backs, kind of like Eberflus did with our middle and Darius Leonard. That's what I see. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. But that's why I see it.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the thing, like in regards to drafting, right? Because I think like everybody just wants something different. Like I think there's been people who have kind of just been clinging to the whole and by the way, welcome in everybody that's came in. I see a lot of names, Brent coming in. He said shout out to Blue Crew. By the way, shout out to Blue Crew. Like I said, just good people all around. You got we got Kendrick in here. We got everybody. So like I said, just want to make sure we shout out everybody. But I mean, so I think we all have an idea of just kind of like what we want. But also at the same time, it's just like it's weird being in this position where you're literally like smack dab in the middle of the draft. Because if there's somebody that you like, you almost have to watch them go. And if you know that there's a chance that they can go into like a top 10, you're gonna have to trade into a top 10, which comes with a whole lot more, like giving up draft stock and everything else. So
Yep.
I mean, so for me personally, I've never been on the Warren train. I think anybody who's been in here, it's just like I like to me, we have so many more pressing things that I want. I want defense, right? Like I'm good with Jahad Campbell still, and that's just because it's just like to me, it's just like dude's a freak, but he's going to be somebody who's going to be able to do dividends to a defense that needs to be significantly better. And I do believe that Lou brings a different presence with his scheme, with his defensive philosophy, but also you want the players to be able to, do whatever needs to be done. And for me, it's like Tyler Warren has never just been on my radar because I just don't believe that we're a team where if we draft a tight end first round, that or we're drafting a tight end first round and we're just good with our defense as is. Like
I
it's just
agree. I just don't see this team utilizing a tight end position to spend that high on a tight end. If you want to start utilizing this position, utilize the guys we got. They're pretty damn good. I got, Granson's already gone. Mo hasn't been re-signed. So that's already made the tight end room better. We got Ogletree. We got Jelani Woods. We got Will Mallory. If you want another tight end, you can pick another one up in the later rounds, and you're still going to be fine. If for some reason Warren is there and Ballard goes for him, that's going to tell me one thing. We're going to start utilizing that position more in the middle of the field. Hopefully it'll back off our sideline throws.
yeah.
If we're tearing them up in the middle, they're going to start bringing people in. And giving Anthony help is never a bad thing. I'll say that. Now, he's not my first pick, but if that's the way the organization goes, I'm all for it. My first pick is still Campbell. Has been since we started this offseason.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
to spend a top 20 draft pick on a tight end and we don't really utilize it, I don't see it. But if the organization does it, then I can see what they will do with him.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait, freeze that right there. Bring that back. Bring that,
Get him,
bring
Brent.
that back.
Get him.
Brent, I'm going to tell you right now, okay? Listen, I'm going to be candid because you know what? We are live and there's certain things that I can't say because I will get in trouble with Sammy. Listen, you hush your mouth, okay? Listen here, all right? I'm going to let you know right now. Knock it off, all right? Listen, I am not Huyan. I don't want to hear that nonsense, okay? So, yes, Tyler Warren, no way. Absolutely not.
Brent, he might be getting upset because you figured him out. I don't know. He's a closet Warren guy.
I will be okay with drafting a kicker first round before I'm okay with drafting a tight end in the first round. Because
that's harsh.
I don't because this team is not we're not a team that is going to get a tight end and we're going to go to the next level. That's not what this team is. Like we're not going to do it's that doesn't align with what it is that we need. If you really want and mind you, there's people who try to use like the AR argument, right? Where they say, "Oh, you get another weapon for AR, oh, he's going to take off." You give AR a top 5 defense, that does more than going and getting him somebody else as far as another weapon to use in an offense where we should be a run first offense anyway. Because if we're being honest, how many times and we don't have to talk about last year, right? Even though we all know that had we gone and even gotten turnovers or gotten stops when we needed to, a lot of those games we end up being in a much better position because there's a lot more that can be said than if we had a Tyler Warren last year, that ends up giving us 2 maybe 3 extra wins as opposed to if our defense wasn't bottom 5 and we actually ended up, let's just say, being a top 15 defense, then now we're going to be looking at, hey, now that we have this top 15 defense, you don't have so many one-score games. How many one-score games did we have last year where it was decided by less than a field goal or less than a touchdown?
Too many. Too daggum many.
And like I said, it's just even the first Houston game. If you get a turnover, or if you get 2 stops in that game, now you're in a better position. And now you make sure that your team, that AR doesn't have to go in here playing rushed, playing hurried, playing hero ball. You now don't have to go to an offense where you have to make him just be like, rather than just being like, hey, look, get a feel for the game, doing what you had. Now you're just like, oh no, we're down 7-0. They just chewed 8-9 minutes off the clock. So we need you to go out there and we need you to do something quick. And yeah, he got that nice pass off to Alec Pierce, 100%. But then you're not going to have that all the time. So the way that you make sure that you're not putting him in those positions where we just have to basically just overutilize the fact that he can throw 80 yards on a whim. Now you make sure that you get a defense that's going to be able to get those stops so that you have a shorter field and that he's able to move the way that he's supposed to. Shorter field is always going to be better than pinning him back there and hoping that he gets 80 yards after a kickoff.
Yep. You are not wrong. And we spoke on this and pretty good length. A couple weeks ago, those differences, and if we could get the defense off the field, and if we could get the defense to make just a few stops in each of these games that we were one score difference, it changes our entire season. Absolutely does. So you're not wrong in that thought process. And I think the same way. All I'm saying is if they go with Warren, that's what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'll hold my hat on, is giving AR more weapons is not a bad thing.
It's not.
It's not my choice, but that's what I put my hat on.
Yeah, it's like the thing that stinks is the fact that I understand why people want to get Tyler Warren in the first round, because the thing is we also have a tight end room that just has not been good. And I mean, I think our tight end room had the least amount of yards for the entire league last year.
But that is so skewed because they also had the least passes thrown to them. And nobody started screaming on X about getting a tight end until Drew Ogletree dropped that pass in the end zone. He dropped one pass last year, you guys. Yes, it was a critical pass. I'm not going to let him fall on cotton pillows or anything like that. You got to catch him. Very catchable ball. He should have caught it. Absolutely. But he was thrown to 11 times. 11 times, and now you're telling me you want to spend a number one draft pick on a tight end. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, if Coach goes into Ballard's office and says, hey, I have to get that middle of that field opened up. I have to have this and this piece is good for this, but this is what I want. Different. Then that means he's going to start utilizing that position, and I'm okay with spending a first round pick on a tight end. But if you're not going to utilize it, don't spend it. To me, it's that easy. Either utilize the position and spend what you need, or spend that capital somewhere else, like the defense, to make the difference in the game. Take the pressure off of AR's shoulders. Don't make him feel like he has to play hero ball. Let him sit back there. Let him see the field. Let him get comfortable. Let the game slow down for him.
Yeah.
And a strong defense will do that, because the coach is going to come up after a bad play or an interception, whatever. Look, don't worry about it. Defense is playing good. We're going to get the ball back. We got plenty of time. And he's going to say, okay. All right, guys, let's get the ball back. All right, guys, we're getting the ball back. We're getting the ball back. We got time. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's the difference. And if the defense can't come off the field, and me and you spoke about this quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We had to have the best trained defense physically in all of NFL's creation last year, because those boys was not coming off the field. But they weren't stopping anything. So when AR comes back on the field, he feels the pressure. He feels like he has to win or play hero ball.
Yeah, and that's going to be and the thing and that's for somebody who we are told that he needs to get the snaps and he needs to develop. Him having to play hero ball is going to be the complete antithesis of
Opposite.
everything that's happening.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's all the more reason why it is much more advantageous for us to make sure that you got the defense, because if we're being honest, right, we can go with that defense. If that defense is getting turnovers and that defense is getting us exactly what we need, that means then AR is going to have numerous opportunities. But the thing is also, we don't know exactly where AR is going to be in his development. We just know that he's been out there grinding. He's been working this offseason. So automatically, if I'm looking at the defense and I'm saying, you know what, that's what it's going to be, that's what's going to happen. Because if we're, and mind you, everybody wants to talk about the fact because, and this is how the conversations come up. So Jalen Hurts, now they're having discussions where they're saying, "Oh yeah, he has to be in the top 5. He has to be this or he has to be that." Look at that Eagles team from this year with a 2,000-yard rusher. With that defense, you have a defense where it didn't even matter exactly where they ranked statistically. They literally were able to control ball possession. They were able to control clock, and that's what's going to happen. That's how you make sure that you are in control of the game, by making sure you're controlling clock.
They did it all year long, and they did it in the Super Bowl.
And so the thing is,
you're right. You're 100% right. That defense controlled everything. Go back and think of the Super Bowl. Did it ever look like Jalen Hurts? Any time from the first snap to the last snap, did it look like he was stressed? Like he had to win this game? No, he was just out there playing because he knew he had a 2,000-yard rusher. He knew he had this defense that's going to stop and get you good field position with the ball. He went out there and he had fun. That you're 100% right. That's what we got to get AR to. That's what's going to help slow this game down for him.
Yeah.
And then when we do need him to play hero ball, he's going to be up to speed to do it.
Mm-hmm. And that's the craziest part is that now because Jalen Hurts and the Eagles won the Super Bowl, now they're catapulting Jalen Hurts up into these discussions about top 10 or top 5, however you feel that he is, when statistically last year was better than this year, even though they said last year was more so of an off year. So if we're talking about how things can work, right? Because I don't think that AR is going to be a 5,000-yard passer with 1,000 yards rushing and 50 TDs passing and 5 interceptions. No, I don't think that. But the thing is, I think we'll see him being able to exploit many different areas of the field. It won't just be them trying to go deep or trying to just hit the sidelines. It's going to be being able to go ahead and exploit over the middle, being able to make sure that he's getting those shorts, getting the check downs, getting those areas that for a fact he wasn't necessarily doing anything about previously. And it's going to be much more natural for him too.
I agree. I'm typing, Sammy, if you want to keep going.
Oh no, it's all good. Actually, I'm getting back into this chat right here. Brent says CJ would even trade up for Warren. If I would trade up for Warren, then you, sir, would wear an Ohio State jersey every single day for the rest of your life. And we all know how you feel about them. So next one.
That's rough.
Yes, I said that. He said, we still don't win that game. JD dropped the touchdown or JT, but not bringing Granson and Mo back. They're going to get a tight end. I mean, but the thing is also, they didn't bring EJ Speed or Grant Stewart back. So the same can be said for the linebacker position.
Absolutely.
Like tight end and linebacker were the two rooms where we lost and we did not add anybody. So, I mean, honestly, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like because those are two rooms that we have no clue about. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to see that things are going to be a little bit different. I mean, yeah. So you know
Go ahead,
what?
bring that back up for
No,
me,
yeah,
Sammy.
bring it back up. Bring it back up.
Uh,
Yes.
Now, as you guys can see in my background after this awesome tailgate video, um, Josh Downs camp is this Sunday.
Mhm.
Registration opens up at 8:30. Camp starts at 10:30, ends by 1. There's going to be a lot of activity out there. Your Anvil guys are going to be out there. The Anvil crew is going to be out there. Mix 105 is going to be out there. Man, let's see who it's just a lot of stuff's going on. So if you have not registered, you're young, and look what you're missing right here behind me right now. This is the camp. It's at the practice facility. How many kids got to say, hey, I got to train with some professional football players in a professional facility? That's pretty wicked if you ask me. So go to gamedayouthcamps.com. I think I said that right this time. And register. We got Josh's is Sunday. Then we got Kenny Moore's in May. And then we got Zaire's in July, I believe. So if you miss this one, don't sweat it. We got more coming. So, but anyways, go check them out. It is too much fun, y'all. Too much fun. I did not see one kid upset last year. Everybody had a great time. You know, AR was out there, Juju Brents was out there, Nick Cross was out there, and a couple other players. You know, these guys are all friends. They all support each other. So you know more than just Josh is going to be there. You never know who's going to show up. So great time. I hope you guys don't miss it. I hope you guys can come out and have some fun with us.
Absolutely. And yeah, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna say I'm very excited for it. Because like I said, it's just like these types of events. The kids come out. Like I said, they get a chance to interact with them, and you never know. Like kids go to these camps, and they're always. I'm gonna say they're always so taken back just because of the environment. I mean, you have kids that are out there being active, doing their thing. Like, I mean, honestly, it's gonna be a great time, and it's this Sunday upcoming, so April
Yep.
13th. So yes, just make sure that you're and like I said, I think the registration they're able to register at the event, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
it's
right, cool.
easier if you get registered online though. It's a lot
Okay,
easier.
got you.
But
Okay.
I do believe you can get registered at the facility. And if you're you wake up and say, "Come on, boy, let's go to that camp." Just drive out to the Colts complex on 56th Street. There's a guard shack. Pull up to the guard shack. Tell him you're there for the camp. He'll let you. He'll tell you which way to go. It's that easy. You don't have to do anything else. Just get out there and have a good time.
Yep.
Yeah, because game day camps, man, they put on a phenomenal event for these kids. You know, and look, all those kids got Josh Downs t-shirts. Yeah. So it's a good time. Don't miss it. All right, I'll shut up about the camp.
No, it's all good. No. We want to make sure everybody knows. So yes. And then I think Boris says this is like give AR some time. He hasn't even played in every NFL stadium yet. Um, yeah, I mean you're right. Uh,
Well, he
it's gonna
has
take
played
this.
in an NFL stadium, but he does need some more time. And that's the thing. None of us on this program has crowned him king of the NFL. We're just saying we believe in this kid. We believe in his ability. We believe in his ceiling, and we believe in his work ethic, and we believe he'll get himself there. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We move on.
Yeah,
But right now, we believe he can, and we hope he can.
absolutely. And I mean, and I think it also is just like I said, because I repeat this all the time. This is his first full off season. This is the first off season where he can healthily make sure that he's doing everything that he's supposed to do, and making sure that he's working on development, working on the mechanics, working on everything else. So I mean, I don't think there's a reason. There's no reason not to be optimistic about it, because now it's just like we'll be able to see what he can do with the full off season. However you feel about that, then that's fine. But like I said, you just get a chance to just finally see what happens when he's able to just get a little bit more time. So I mean, that's fine. So we can definitely do that. And then Adam J says, does this mean the great CJ and Adam J will finally be having a face to face? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, we got a bro love fest going on.
Don't even do that because listen, listen, I will say it like this, okay? You have love fest, and you know what, rightfully so. Okay, you're a good guy. You're a good guy. Okay, you're a good egg, and I'm not just saying that because of the way the light is shining off your head right now, but it's just like you're a good egg. All right, I just want to make sure that we just, I mean, it's just like, if anybody's out there, yes, the great CJ will be out there, and I'm not referring to myself. I'm going according to what Adam J says. I'm not that, but I was just,
Yeah.
but yes, we will absolutely be at the camp. I believe it's just like be out there in the RV. So all good things,
Hopefully,
like I said,
hopefully,
yes, hopefully, well,
hopefully.
hopefully.
Yeah, we're still trying to get the brakes done.
Oh,
Finding parts for an 86 RV is not the easiest thing, which I didn't anticipate.
well, you know, duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything pre
Hell
90.
yeah, I get jealous, Adam. You're my friend. Not Chris is now you're all excited to see Chris. Just throwing
Oh
me away
yeah.
like a used piece of paper.
You're not a used piece of paper, Pat. You're
Well,
reusable.
he well, I am reusable, but that's the way he's treating me right
I don't
now
know where you're going
because
with
of
that one, but that
you.
was diabolical. Oh, because of me. And but you know, and like I said, I think also what Bori's saying, it's the Colts fans are hard on them, and it's because of the fact that I think we got used to a certain level of quarterback play, and we had such good quarterback play for a long time. We're just expecting anybody that we draft to automatically be at that same level. And this is the first time in a very long time where we've had to really just go out there and wait for the process to play out the way that it's supposed to, as opposed to just seeing that our finished product is doing finished product things. So
Absolutely. And if I can remind everybody, when we drafted Peyton Manning, he had a dad that played in the NFL. He
yeah,
had that support system to say, listen here, boy, you're going to experience this, you're going to do this, and you have to do these things to be successful in the league. Trust me, I know I've been there. Andrew Luck, same way. His dad had played in the NFL. His dad taught him the things that he needs to do, things he needs to stay away from, the extras.
hmm
These guys were trained from a
yeah,
very young age because of who their parents were.
yeah,
AR didn't have that. He's figuring it out, and hopefully we want him to figure it out sooner than rather than later.
yeah,
So yeah, give him time. He's got the work ethic. We're seeing it.
yeah,
He's got the drive. We see it. He's got the athleticism. We see it. Now he's just got to put the mental side to everything else. He's going to be fine.
yeah.
I really do believe that.
No,
But to me,
100%.
that's go back and look. We got spoiled with Manning. We got spoiled with Luck. Great
Yeah,
quarterbacks. Great quarterbacks. But they had a different upbringing. They had an
yeah,
upbringing of the NFL, not trying to get to the NFL.
yeah.
They
They
were
were pretty
brought
much
up in
indoctrinated. Like,
yeah, they were raised in NFL stadiums. They were raised around coaches. They were raised around teams. So even if his dad didn't say, "Hey Peyton, hey Eli, we need to do this," they seen these other people in those locker rooms doing it. They already knew because that's the way they were raised. They were raised in an NFL stadium. Biggest difference right there, in my opinion, between those two and AR.
yeah. And I mean, and I think there's also like a certain expectation. Like there was an expectation that they were going to be, who they were because of who they were, because of where they came from. And AR didn't have that. AR is a guy that played very little college where they said, "Oh, he's going to be green, he's going to be raw, he's a, he's a green prospect." And we're going to have to see exactly how that's going to go. And I mean, like I said, we're seeing just how we're seeing just how patient we have to be waiting for this to play out. Because the thing is, it's like I said, winning heals all remedies. And I posed this to
Absolutely.
the chat. I posed this to the chat the way that I posed this the other day because, like I said, I do like the Twitter Spaces with everybody. So I'm gonna pose this because somebody brought up the whole that whole tap out situation, right? I'm like, if we play Jacksonville in Jacksonville week 1 and AR has a good game and we do two things that we haven't done in over 10 years, winning week 1 and also winning in Jacksonville. The tap out will basically have never happened because of the fact that was the leader behind the fact that we were able to do two things that we have not been able to do in 10 years.
Agree. Absolutely agree.
Yeah, it's and I think that it's funny. It's funny that they bring that up too. They said, "Can you imagine AR in another system?" Oh, can you bring up that last comment? Yeah, there you go. Can you imagine AR in another system, city, and coach playing against our defense? That's my worst nightmare. And I think that's the crazy thing because I think we we might be the only fan base that doesn't see it. Maybe other than other AFC South teams, but what do they know about anything? Oh, by the way, hey, shout out to Florida winning last night and beating Houston, and Houston once again not being able to get it done. It seems like the only team that can get it done in Houston is the Astros, and they cheat. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's just like that's what it is. But that's neither here nor there. Um, but no, but it's like if you give a like, I imagine that if for some reason, let's just say, if for some reason AR didn't work out this year, AR ends up going somewhere like the Rams. They'll sit him for a year or two and then they'll have him really learn, and then he'll come back in under a Sean McVay or under a Kevin O'Connell or under one of those coaches with that offensive mind, and they'll be like, "Oh, we know exactly what to do with this guy." And that's my fear too, because we didn't handle the situation properly. I'm going to say it because the thing is, AR should have sat. Yes, he needed snaps, absolutely. But the thing is, he also needed to sit down, learn, and he needed to develop. And honestly, players sitting down for a year or 2 years, it's never hurt them.
Okay, but basically after the shoulder injury, he did sit pretty
Yeah,
much
but
the
the
whole
thing is,
year. When did he
yeah,
get
but
hurt? What week? Like 4 or 5?
he got hurt week 5 because I think he got hurt. I think
Yeah.
he got hurt on my birthday weekend. I think.
So yeah, he did basically sit.
Yeah, but the thing
So
is, but the
starting him
problem.
out from the gate, I'm not putting that on him.
But the thing is also there's a difference between having to sit due to injury and sitting to digest. Because the thing is at the end of the day, everything that you're seeing on the field is going to be able to say, "Oh, you know what? Here, I saw him do something and I want to see how I can react to this." So the thing is, it's not like he was practicing while he had while he was like learning these things. He basically was immobile. He wasn't able to do anything. He wasn't able to throw until May of last year.
Yeah, the only thing he was able to do was digest.
Yeah, but the thing is also, if you have some, and I'm gonna ask you like this, Pat. When you're learning something, right? There's people who can go and they can sit there, they can read, and they can say, "Oh, okay, all right, yep, I got all this, okay, we're good." And there's some people who see something, they're just like, "You know what? I need to go ahead, I need to do that, I need to try it myself, and I need to see it."
Fair
There's
point.
different learning
We
styles.
Yeah, we don't know what his learning style is.
We
A
don't, but
very, very,
also,
very fair point to bring up. He might be that hands-on type of guy. I know I am. I know I
yeah,
learn a lot faster and a lot easier when I got my hands and making my own mistakes, seeing it, correcting it, going
yeah,
back on what I read about this or that, and there you go.
yeah, and like I said, that's what I'm speaking to in terms of being able to sit and digest, right? Because the thing is, during that time, if for some reason he's learning and digesting and you're sitting him, you can look into doing the mechanic stuff year one. You can look into doing the development stuff. I don't know exactly, how much of the VR they were doing or whether that was something that was just recently developed, but you can also say that that can be done during that time. Like, it's stuff that's able to be done when you're 100% healthy and just sitting and learning, than to, I'm gonna say, just be there and, like I said, be immobilized. Because that shoulder, that needed to be in that harness frequently, and he had to have that harness on him, I'm gonna say, for months until
Yeah.
he was able to. So I mean, yeah, you can learn some plays, yeah, but the thing is, all that stuff that you do in terms of, like I said, for the foot for his footwork being inconsistent. Footwork being inconsistent requires him to be able to move around doing the actual footwork, which ultimately he wasn't able to do until they went into OTAs. So now you, like I said, it's just like that was more so a setback than anything else. Whereas now everything that he needed to work on and everything that has to be worked on, he's working on this off season right now. So that's why I'm just excited to see exactly what it turns into. But that's just where I'm coming from in terms of having him sit for that first year or two so that he can really just go ahead and just get that intensive learning going, and he can work on those things that we know he's trying to fix now, as opposed to, what could have been fixed before.
Agreed.
So yes. And I think with that being said, we are going to be up out of here. There's not much else to talk about. I think once we get a little bit closer to the draft, yeah. But we will, be talking.
We'll have quite a bit to talk about next week, because we'll get to talk about the camp.
Absolutely. Yes, we will. So then with that being said, Sammy, can you bring up the Twitter handles? There we go. And Pat, tell them where they can find you, unfortunately.
You can find me on X at Big P Colts.
That is still a dastardly name.
I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't. You still have not, you or nor Clyde have given me any reason to change it, just because you don't like it.
Big Pat Colts.
Is that what you want me to change it to?
Yeah, even that would be fine.
All right, we'll go with Big Pat then.
The Big Pat. There you go.
Just to make you happy.
Yeah,
you
can find me. You can find me on Twitter at CJ Colts fan. And can you bring up the Twitter handle for the page? Yep. And make sure that if you are not already, make sure that you are following at SickPod Colts, where you'll be able to see everything that we're posting on there. I believe we'll possibly have some pictures, videos from the camp coming up this weekend. Remember, if you do have small children, because mind you, if you're an adult that's going to be out there trying to run wide receiver drills, you will be escorted out, you heathen. So yes, we will make sure. But yes, make sure that you're out there. If you have any kids, just like I said, get them out there. It'll be a good time. But with that being said, we love you guys. See you later. Once again, if you're watching, please subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and then also make sure, if you haven't already, download the Z103.com app. And also make sure that and I think Mix 105, do they have an app as well, correct?
They're working on it. Right now, all they've got is a Facebook page. Or you can go to the internet. You can go to your browser and type in mix105.3.com, and you can listen through the internet that way.
Nice.
Okay, but they are working on getting their app completed.
Fantastic. Yep. So just make sure that you are liking, following, download the Z103.com app. And with that being said, we will see you guys next week. Sammy, take us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast and Bill Show on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.